Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meow Mix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we are here to make some predictions for the 2023 Panthers season. It's game week, Jerry. It is
Hey.
officially game week.
I know. Slap me silly and call me Susan.
All right, Susan. Well, we are 1 week away from the Panthers playing their first game. We're recording this on Sunday, so the first college games of the year have gone off and some really fun games yesterday, but we are ready for NFL football.
Yes. Guys, it's here. I can't believe it. We get to finally see what this team really is. Because I don't think this team has shown what they were going to do in this preseason. I think this was a hold the cards close to the vest. We have the NFC South right on the doorstep of week 1 and 2. Let's just get through it clean. Let's get through it learning a few things about our players, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, we have been told over and over and over again that this is not the offense that we would see in the regular season. It was not the defense that we would see in the regular season. We haven't seen Brian Burns. We haven't seen Justin Houston. We barely saw, 24 passes of Bryce Young. I mean, he's going to probably throw more than that in the first game. Like, this is a new team, and we're ready to see what they've got. We did go through some cuts. We talked about that on our last episode. A lot of those guys have been signed back to the practice squad, and the Panthers actually claimed a few guys that were cut from other teams over the weekend, or over the last few days, I should say.
And with that, they had to release a few of our own guys that thought they made the team but didn't.
Yeah.
If we want to go ahead and start with those waiver claims, we have guard Calvin Throckmorton. Love that last name. The player himself is a little less exciting.
Yeah.
Linebacker Claudin Chorellis from the Jets. And cornerback Deshaun Jameson from San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, Throckmorton is kind of a versatile guy, not somebody that we hope is starting, but a depth piece.
Yeah, I looked at his PFF grades, and he gave up quite a bit when he was there. Now, again, that's a different scheme and everything, but it still makes me a little worried.
I mean, there's a reason all these guys were cut, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're not the best of the best. Deshaun Jameson looks kind of interesting. He's, made some good plays in his college career, especially. So I'm excited to kind of see what he can do if he stays on the team. And then I don't know much about Claudin Chorellis.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of have to see. But one of the guys that got cut from the Panthers, kind of buried the lead a little bit here, Matt Corral, no longer a Carolina Panther.
Nope.
How are you feeling about that?
Well, he was actually claimed by New England Patriots, who we traded up to get. We gave him this year's third to draft him. So now they got the pick that we used and the pick that they used to draft somebody else. And it's just...
Yeah, classic Patriots, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they do crap like this all the time. But yeah, I mean, they claimed him, so currently he and Mac Jones are the only quarterbacks on that roster. I don't know. I mean, obviously they saw something in him enough to claim him on their actual 53-man roster. Do you wish that he would have come back on the practice squad?
I mean, right now, yes, because we have Andy Dalton and Bryce Young, and usually you want another guy as an emergency guy that knows the offense or kind of can be groomed here. I mean, I know Bailey Zappi already signed with the Patriots, but that would have been a really fun one to kind of sign since he has shown better. But you can't.
I mean, he's on their practice squad. We could technically sign him off their practice squad.
But I don't know if you would do that now. I just don't.
Probably not. I mean, it seems like they're comfortable going into the season with two quarterbacks. We don't even have one on the practice squad right now. So it'll be interesting to see, if something happens. God
Maybe
forbid,
Luton will be
Bryce
signed to the practice squad or someone else.
Maybe. I mean, we can Jake and Eason back, or I think
you know who it's going to be, right?
PJ Walker.
The PJ Walker's coming back.
He got signed to, was it the Browns practice squad or somebody?
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he's signed to somebody's squad out there. But yeah, speaking of the practice squad, the Panthers did make some moves. Oh, also Stephen Sullivan was placed on injured reserve. He's eligible to come back in 4 weeks. Or 5
real
weeks,
quick,
I guess.
before I Claude and Chelis, a lot of these guys are always like very young. Like this year, him and Deshaun Jameson were undrafted rookie free agents.
Yeah.
But I will say with Chelis, he did have a good preseason where he had a really good PFF coverage skill. So I'm kind of curious if maybe that's why he's 6'2", 230. Maybe they think they can mold him into more of a coverage linebacker for this team, because I don't think we have much in that regards.
True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew Jameson was, a young guy, but okay. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, so Sullivan's on the injured reserve, and then I don't remember who the other. I think Wooten was the guy that ended up getting cut.
Yeah, it was Wooten who got cut, as well as Derek Wright got cut as well.
Yeah, and both of those guys signed back to the practice squad, which is nice. Additionally, Justin McCray, Deontay Brown, J.D. DiRenzo, Spencer Brown, Raekwon Williams, Taylor Stallworth, Iku Leota, Jordan Thomas, Eric Rowe, Stanley Thomas Oliver, Mark Milton, Joshua Corbin, and David Sharp, all signed to the practice squad. So those are the guys.
I would,
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think Raekwon Williams could easily make his way back onto the roster. Deontay Brown could easily make his way back onto the roster. Spencer Brown, maybe. I mean, if one of the RBs goes down, could easily make his way back onto the roster.
Eric Rowe, Justin McCray, all these guys, Stanley Thomas Oliver, easily, in my opinion, can sneak back. And I say sneak back, work themselves back to the roster with injuries or anything. I really do like the fact that they can sign so many players to the practice squad, especially veterans now.
Thank COVID for that.
Yeah, I think it's a great situation for, A, the players, and B, for the teams themselves. Like Eric Rowe, I mean, he's a veteran. He's good. He's solid. He just didn't match up with right now, but somebody else can use him eventually, preferably on this team if something happens.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Reich came right out and said, hey, some of these guys are going to make it back on the squad. It always happens, right? I mean, we see injuries happen every year. Heaven forbid there are too many of them, but some of these guys are going to come back, and that's what the practice squad is for. So, additionally to practice against. So, we've got some decent players on that practice squad that's going to make our players better going up against them in practice every week. So, lots of positives there.
Yeah, 100%. And like we've just discussed, it was a simple fact of I had McCray, Raekwon Williams, Eric Rowe, Stanley Town. I don't think I had Stanley's, but those guys were the guys I thought could easily make this roster without a hesitation. Batting an eye.
Yeah, for sure. We were a little hit or miss on some of our picks there, but I think mostly we did a pretty good job. And they're back on the practice squad, so I'm going to give you the W.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the roster's solid. I mean,
we hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jerry and I are going to
use the Force, Luke,
and we're going to try to make some predictions here for the 2023 season. In the past, we have gone week by week through the schedule and predicted wins and losses. We're not really going to do that here. That gets a little tedious, right? I think it gets a little it's not super fun to listen to. So we're going to do some different predictions today. We're going to talk about the record. Overall, we're going to kind of give our predictions there. And then we're going to just kind of talk some other fun awards and stats and things that we think we might see. And then maybe we each have some special stuff at the end. We'll see. But I say we just kind of kick it right off here, Jerry. What do you think the overall record for the Panthers is going to be in 2023?
See, I didn't know you were going to do this, so I thought we were going to go, but I am going to go 9-8. I I see so many games that could be hit or miss that it could go, and I'm gonna go 9-8. I think
Yeah.
that they have a really good roster, and I think that depending on Bryce Young, the conversion to the 3-4, I think they can win a lot of games. But at the same time, there is a lot of turnover that I don't feel comfortable just being like 12 wins. But
Yeah. Do you think? What do you think their division record is going to be? Like 4-2, 3-3.
I'm thinking 4-2 or 3-3. I think that New Orleans could split with them, Atlanta could split with them. I think the Bucks have a really good defense that you never know, and that's
Yeah.
not a knock on anybody, but like that defense is good. I think Arthur Smith is a really good coach in Atlanta. But that being said, they have a great run team, but Derek Ritter, I just don't. I wouldn't trust him. And as a Carolina Panthers fan, I know what it is like where your team is pretty solid, but that quarterback, if they can anchor a team. And Dennis Allen, I think, is just not a good head coach. So the Saints have the best roster, top to bottom, in my opinion. But I also think they have probably the third or fourth worst coach in this division, because I don't think Todd Bowles is that good either.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason that I didn't really want to go through the schedule is because I don't know really how good our team is going to be, and I don't know how good the other teams in the division are going to be either.
No,
like you said, I mean, it truly does feel like it's up in the air as to how good any of these teams are going to be. 9-8 was also kind of what I was thinking, so I'm going to stick with that as well. Ceiling wise, I mean, I struggle to see them winning more than 10 or 11 games, just because of rookie quarterback, underwhelming receiver core, questionable corner health, brand new coaching staff, brand new schemes, just going to be working through a lot of things as the season progresses. Floor-wise, though, I don't see them winning less than like maybe 6 games. I think the scheme is good. I think Bryce is going to be good. And the defense, I think, is going to carry the team.
yeah. Not only that, you look at these opponents, especially for the first 6 weeks. I mean, besides our division, which we just kind of clipsed on,
Yeah.
Seattle, playoff contender. Minnesota, playoff contender. Detroit,
Yeah.
playoff contender. Miami, playoff contender. Houston, Indianapolis, okay, those should be wins. Chicago, playoff contender. I think that's a win, but, people have high hopes for them. Dallas Cowboys, playoff contender. Tennessee Titans, don't know what they're going to be. And Green Bay, I would say playoff contender. Jacksonville, playoff contender. Like, I'm just saying.
The Titans are really well coached, so they're going to be at worst feisty, right? Like,
yeah,
like they're not going to roll over for any team. But yeah, I mean the schedule is, it's I don't know. Again, it's hard to say, like, because we don't know what our team really is.
no.
It's really hard to say. But I think what we can say is that I don't think we're going to be beating ourselves. I think Bryce is not going to turn the ball over a lot.
No.
The defense is going to keep us in games. So I think that there's going to be a lot of close games. I think it's going to be an exciting season. I just don't know that it's going to be a 13-win season, right? I don't see that.
I don't either. I don't, especially with that schedule. I know that the odds maker says that this is an easier schedule, but looking through it, I don't see that. I guess it's because our division was so bad last year. But
right, yeah. I mean that they're looking at 6 games that are against teams that were all under 500 last year, right? Just right off the bat. And then you've got other teams that maybe underperformed last year or are getting better this year, but their record last year wasn't great. So yeah, a lot of the teams that we're playing, like I see them being better than they were last year. And a few teams I see being worse, but we've got the Bears who are going to be better.
yeah,
right?
I mean, you can't be much worse than the number 1 overall pick, and they now have DJ Moore, and some competent players. So
I mean, don't see how they're going to be worse than they were last year. So they're definitely going to be better. But yeah, okay. So we both have 9 and 8. Do you think the team makes the playoffs?
I'm gonna say yes, because I think the NFC is not the best. I think this division is not the best. That I could see them sneaking in with a wild card or winning this division.
Yeah, unfortunately, I see them just missing out. I think it goes down to the last week, and they just don't get in.
And you think you have 9 wins, doesn't get in? I think with the 7th seed now that they will get in with 9 wins.
I think it's right there. Like I said, I think it goes down to the last week. Obviously, I don't know. Are they losing in a tiebreaker? Does the 7th seed have 10 wins? I have no idea, but I don't know, man. I really want them to make the playoffs. Obviously,
Don't lie.
yeah. I can't stand this team. No, I mean,
4 years recording a podcast on them.
it's all been so I can do this. I don't know, man. I don't like the wide receiver core. I just don't think that the skill positions are good enough right now. And they could make some moves, in the season, make some trades. Shark could stay healthy the whole time and have 1,200 yards. I mean, these things are possible, but I'm just not impressed by those guys right now.
Yeah, right now I agree with the wide receiver core is a big the anchor right now, as well as the offensive line. If they play like they did in the preseason, I'm holding out hope that was more them trying to test out new schemes and stuff like that. Fingers crossed. But the receivers weren't getting separation. Even if they were vanilla routes, you're a pro. You should be getting somewhat open.
Yeah, we didn't see a ton of Shark. We didn't see a lot of TMJ. But what we did see of TMJ, I wasn't impressed by. Right? Mingo's still a rookie. He's going to get better as the season goes on. But out the gate, he's not going to be polished. He's not going to be nearly where he will be by the end of the season. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a cap on how good the team can be.
Yeah, and I think Chenault is another question mark that I think could be really good in this scheme of, letting the players make plays after the catch. And again, Bryce is still a rookie. I mean, as much as I like him and everything else, like it is what it is.
Well, speaking of Bryce, Jerry, let's predict his stat line. Let's hold on. I've got one here.
Oh, I see much success in your near future.
Okay, so is it going to be a successful season for Bryce? I'm going to go first this time. I've been
you went. I went first last time. Go for it.
So I see Bryce having a good season, a very good rookie season. He's not going to have a Cam Newton rookie season. He's not going to throw for 4,000 yards, I don't think. Mainly because he doesn't have a Steve Smith on this team. He doesn't have a Greg Olsen on this team, right? Things that, despite what everyone loves to say about how Cam had nobody to ever throw to in his career, he did have a pretty good core in his rookie season. Bryce doesn't have that. I think Bryce is going to go throw for like 3,300 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's my stat line.
I am going to go 3,800 yards. So
Okay.
I think he's going to pass more than you did. I would say 24 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. That was kind of where I was sitting at. So very similar touchdown interception. I did have more yards, though. I didn't think he's going to crack the 4,000, but close to it.
Who's catching those passes?
Hayden Hurst. I think
Hayden Hurst have 1,000 yards?
I don't know if there will be 1,000-yard receiver, but I do think that a lot of guys are going to be over 500 yards.
You think like there's 4 guys that have 700 yards
Yeah.
and 2 or 3 guys that are 300, 400, 500 yards? Okay. He's going to spread the ball around a lot.
Yeah, that's my thought.
He's going to have to because there's no alpha on the team. There's no alpha wide receiver. Who is that top receiver?
That top receiver, in my eyes, is going to be, if healthy, DJ Shark. I think he can go for 1,100 yards, 1,200 yards. If healthy, caveat, obviously, that's what it is. I think he's also in a contract year on a 1-year prove-it deal. He's shown in the past that he can do it. It's just staying the healthy is his biggest issue.
Yeah, I'm going to go Thielen. And I don't know that that's a good thing. But I think Thielen is going to lead the team in receive. He's going to be the top receiver, have the most yards, and I think it's going to be like 950, something like that, with 8 or 9 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a good season, but in terms of what you want your number one receiver to be, it's going to be a little bit of a letdown.
Okay, I get that.
What's next?
We have Miles Sanders yards prediction. And with that, go ahead and choose because I will say mine after.
Okay, that's usually how it goes. Yeah, Sanders I'm actually more bullish on. I think he's going to have a really good season. What was he last year? Like 1,500 total yards or something. Yeah, something like that. I think he has a similar amount of rushing yards. I think he's right around 1,100 rushing yards, but I think he's got like 600-700 receiving yards. I think he's going to be really, really involved in the receiving game, and I think he's going to be flirting with 1,800, 1,900 total yards this season.
I want you to get out of my head right now.
Uh-oh.
I want you to take whatever lock and key you have, reading my mind, because I was thinking 1,200 yards. I can see the future! I was thinking 500 yards receiving, but again, about the same, 1,800 yards total, because I think we're going to ride him. I think we're going to use him on the run game. I think Bryce is going to use him in the emergency, oh crap, let me dip out this pass to you and Hayden Hurst, and that's how it's going to go. And I think he's going to have a really good Pro Bowl type of year that people are going to be like, wow, he put up some numbers in Carolina this year.
Yeah, I agree. I do think he's being slept on, honestly, by a lot of Panthers fans. Not even to mention the national media or fantasy football people or anything like that. I think a lot of Panthers fans are kind of underwhelmed by him, and I think he's going to really show a lot of people that he is a very good running back.
I think what's happened is the past few years we had Christian McCaffrey, who dynamically is the best running back in the league. Like, just
sure.
I mean, you sent me personal highlights from the past years of him, and it's just like the guy is magnificent.
Yeah.
But Miles Sanders, as much as I think he's a good running back, is a step down. And I think that's kind of fan base wise is like, is he that good? Like, yes, he's a very good running back, but he's not CMC.
It is tough. I mean, it's unfair to Sanders, really.
Yeah.
Because CMC was so good. When healthy, obviously, so good, so explosive. But I think Sanders is very good, and if Sanders can be 90%, 85% of what CMC was at his peak, that's a great running back.
100%.
And we're going to be really happy with that.
And I think we have a quarterback to deliver the ball out better, too, than what CMC unfortunately had to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. For sure. I don't even think that's even close. But, yeah, I mean, I see Bryce, if the offensive line doesn't come together like we hope it will, and I expect it will, then that check down is going to be so valuable to Bryce. And Sanders, he might have 700 yards. He might have 90 catches, right? He may have a ton of catches. So, excuse me.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. With Sanders, he just kind of got the bad luck of following up a Hall of Fame type of. top echelon style of player in CMC.
Right. Yep.
Uh,
All right.
moving on.
Move on.
Most valuable player for the season.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I have two.
Do you want to
guys
go
in
first?
mind.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna ride the coattails that I just said. Miles Sanders. I
Okay.
think I understand Bryce Young is probably gonna be considered more most valuable, but I think the offense is gonna run through Miles Sanders, and Bryce Young is gonna reap the benefits of him having a good season.
Yeah. I'm going to go Brian Burns. I think he will be the MVP of the team. Like I said earlier, I think the defense goes, the Panthers are going to go this year. And I think Burns, I don't know if this contract is going to get done before the season starts. I mean, they're still working on it, but the most recent reports from ESPN are that they are not close on a contract, which I have a lot of thoughts about. But this is going to be a contract season essentially for Brian Burns if they don't get this thing done. And they can tag him next year. They can tag him the year after that. He's not going anywhere, but he's going to be really motivated in Evero's system. He's going to have a big year.
And he's going to have Houston on the opposite side on obvious pass rushing downs. So, yeah, I could easily see that, especially on defense. Defense is just so stacked full of guys that I think could become studs.
A lot of talent.
Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin if they use him correctly.
Right. A lot of talent. Houston, you mentioned. He could have
10 sacks and play
Reddick
half
type.
the snaps.
Yeah, he could have a Reddick type season from a couple of years ago. I think both of those are good options. What about LVP, least valuable player?
Who's
going to be the guy that disappoints?
The guy that I saw you put this one in here, and I was kind of thinking about.
Put it in here.
I was like, I don't know. I mean, I can't say Etor because he's already disappointed me so much. I'm like, that's what my parents think of me.
There have to be expectations. I'm not going to say Ian Thomas.
No.
Because there are no expectations.
Dante Jackson? I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
Opposite
That's a good
J.C.
one.
Horn, I just don't see. I'm worried about him. He hasn't looked really that good. So I'm going to say Dante Jackson.
He had a decent preseason. I'm going to go TMJ. I think Terrace Marshall, I just don't know that he's got it. I don't think it's a Kelvin Benjamin type situation, but it might be a Devin Funchess type situation where he just kind of is a guy and doesn't really. I mean, but even Funchess had moments.
Yeah, I think he has
TMJ's
the
done nothing.
tools, but I see what you mean. Maybe he can't put it together. I think Sam Darnold has the tools to be a great quarterback. He just can't put it together. I don't think he has the mental ability to put it together.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that.
No.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. TMJ, he again, he's got size and speed and hands, and something's missing. Something's missing. I hope they find it. I really do. But if I got to make that prediction, and he's a guy that there are expectations for, he's the guy. So, rookie of the year, other than Bryce Young, because we're just going to assume Bryce Young is going to be the best rookie on the team. It certainly is going to have the most impact on the team. So, outside of him, who do you think is going to be the best rookie?
Rice Young.
Did I say Rice Young?
No.
Come on, Jerry.
I'm gonna go Mingo. I think the obvious choice is Mingo. I think Zavala could be in there, but I was looking at the offensive line. I'm like, unless somebody gets hurt, which I guess I'm just promisely hoping that no one gets hurt on the offensive line, that he's not going to see the field that much. But
yeah, I mean, Mingo is probably the obvious. I think I am going to go Zavala just because this offensive line I don't know, man. There's some kind of mojo. There's bad mojo with it right now. It just doesn't feel good.
No, it
And I
doesn't.
think Zavala is fortunately or unfortunately going to be playing a lot, and I think he's going to do well, which is fortunate. It just means that one of the other guys is not going to be. It's just not either not going to be playing well or not going to be out
Christensen
there.
or Austin Corbett takes longer
Corbett
to
may
get
take
back.
longer. Yeah, yeah. I mean, imagine if Zavala is playing so well that when Corbett's healthy, they don't even want to bring Corbett back. Like,
I mean, that could easily happen.
yeah. I mean, coming off the pup, like you have 28 days, I think. I mean, I don't know.
Well, not only that.
Let's look at it as a positive.
I was going to say,
that
but you
Zavala
got to
plays
think
so
about
well.
it. There's a perspective of, hey, Corbett's free agent after this year. Maybe we just go with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe. Is Corbett a free agent after this year? I thought he signed a 3-year deal.
maybe. I thought it was a 2-year, but I could easily be.
Yeah. Either way, I'm sure they could get out of the contract after this year if he's not going to be a free agent. I'm not going to look it up, but okay. Well, do you have any other predictions you want to throw out there? Or any other categories you want to throw out there? I have one.
I'm going to say Coach of the Year.
Okay. Coach of the year. Are we including Frank Reich in that?
No, Frank Reich.
Okay, so assistant coach of the year, essentially, or
Yeah.
coordinator. I mean, I feel like I'm going to go Evero. I mean, I just think the defense is going to be good. I've been harping on the defense this whole prediction show, so I'm going to go Evero. I think he's going to have a great year, and I think he may be one and done.
I could easily see that. I'm going to go Josh McCown. I think Thomas Brown's going to also have a good season, but I think Josh McCown's going to get a lot of love for how well Bryce Young's. Again, I said 3,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, 12, 13 interceptions. It could be higher or something like that. And I could see Josh McCown getting a lot of love. The guy's a media darling already, so... And I say that lovingly, like he's just a guy people are rooting for to get a head coaching job, and I could see him getting a lot of love for it.
And that's not to throw any shade on Thomas Brown.
No.
Right? Like, Thomas Brown should get a lot of the credit if Bryce Young has a great season. But if Bryce Young has a great season and the offense overall is kind of lackluster, which probably won't go together, but could, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, then I could see that. I've got one. Who is the player that gets traded mid-season?
Terrace Marshall Jr.
I'm going to go with Chenault. I think Chenault is just not going to find a place. As much as I like Chenault and as much as excuse me, as much as I want him to find a place, he just seems like such an odd fit. At least from what we've seen. Like, I know he had some success in Jacksonville, but you can't have a receiver that all he does is catch screen passes. Like,
I don't think that was him. I think that was the play calling from the previous.
I hope so.
I do think that.
But we didn't really see him much at all in the preseason. And he should have been out there. I don't know if he got hurt or what, but. Yeah, I think Chenault. I think he ends up getting traded for like a 7th round pick or something, kind of similar to what Robbie Anderson got traded for last year. And yeah, all right. Any other kind of thoughts before we wrap it up?
We need to go over our Bryce Young suggestions.
That's right. We did get some. Do you have them pulled up?
I do have some pulled up if you want to help out. From Happinger. I think that's Happinger. Bryce Up Young. I guess a play on ice.
Ice up. Son.
It's a lot better than a lot of the other plays on that, I will say, because a lot of the other ones are just very...
Yeah, I like it. It's a little much, I think, a little too much for a nickname. But I do like it in terms of like when Bryce does something that is just awesome or, cold-blooded or something like that. Just as a phrase to call out.
Bryce up, son.
Bryce up, son. All right, we got a few here. Bryce Cold has been a popular one. I've seen that from a few suggestions. I like Bryce Cold.
I like Bryce Gold too.
I like it a lot. Guru Bryce.
Guru Bryce, yeah.
I'll pass on that one. Maestro, the Maestro. I love the
I like
Maestro.
that. I like the Maestro.
I like that a lot. Mainly because I'm a Seinfeld fan and there's a whole Maestro subplot. But go check that out on Netflix if you guys haven't seen Seinfeld. Pretty good show. Megamind. Megamind? No?
I get the resemblance. I see the cartoon image of my head from Megamind to Bryce Young. You
Right.
can warp it a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think
Not
Megamind
as
might
good
be
as,
hard.
I feel like Maestro is now what you have to beat. Megamind doesn't beat Maestro. The Thinker. The Thinker.
As someone who reads comic, there's a Flash villain called the Thinker, and that's what I see.
Okay. I don't read comics, although I wish I did. The Seer. Young Sophist. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what Sophist is. The Conductor. The Composer. The Savant. Young Prophet. Young Scholar. I like Young Scholar. Dry Ice Bryce. Remember Dry Ice Bryce? We like that one.
I kind of like Trey Bryce actually.
Dry Ice Bryce. I like Maestro. The Maestro.
We have
that's pretty cool.
We still had some from last week
Yeah.
too. Mr. Freeze, Professor
Yep.
B, Burt Ice. Also, we also
Bryce.
Bryce.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an idiot for misreading that. But
Burr Ice.
I got another one from Brian Burns called him Spicy Bryce
Spicy Bryce. Okay.
on the latest Camp Confidential. So
It's too bad that Cam's not still on the team because Cam would immediately
have
nicknamed
nicknamed him.
Bryce.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like I don't know.
we're
I
gonna
like Maestro, Young Maestro maybe.
the Maestro. I say
We'll
we
have to keep thinking
Dry Ice Bryce. We're gonna throw him up on
on Twitter.
Twitter, and
Or
by
X.
week 1, we're gonna come up with the nickname. We're gonna go with whoever wins it. We'll just go with it.
Yeah.
We
By the
got-
way, I put up a poll earlier asking what people thought the record would be this season for the Panthers, and most people said between 8 or 9 wins.
yeah,
So I feel like we're all right there.
yeah.
Yeah. I should have said that earlier.
No, it's fine. We got less than a minute left to go. I don't have my setup to say, so we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at @MeowMixPodcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com.
I can see the future.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll be back in a few days to preview week 1.
Preview!
Week 1. Yeah, a real preview, not just
Not just, these are guys we're going to watch.
10 minutes at the end of the podcast. Yeah, a real preview. So until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.